my hands. So close your eyes if that feels right to you. The Buddhist tradition is to keep them open and look kind of ahead, 2 or 3 feet ahead of you, down to the floor. And so that your peripheral vision is still open. And then you train yourself to take in whatever chaos there is. So breathing and feeling the breath come in. I'm bringing my thumb and pointer finger together in what's called the Gyan Mudra, which is for mental clarity. And with the breath, I'm finding gratitude, which is my true nature. You know, gratitude is who we really are. If we go right to gratitude, and I like to honor what Joanne brought in several weeks ago, where she said, well, I just think everything's about love. And that ultimately it's love. And yeah, that in our culture, we've used that word over and over again in lots of different ways. And the word gratitude, and it ends up lighting up the heart chakra in the measurements of the heart through the Heart Math Institute, more than love. But often we say the term, you know, God is love, and God is the great mystery. God is all that is. God is Ein Sof. God is the unmanifested presence. God is nature. You know, God is the universe. You know, names for God. There's hundreds of names for God. So expand your vision of God. And then you say God is love and bring it into your heart, that wholeness of everything, and have gratitude. The gratitude is, I'm so grateful that I've been given this life in this body that is living at this amazing time in history during the shift of the ages, the great turning, this very unusual time. And with that, we are experiencing many changes that can bring forward that word fear. And we now know that we're wired naturally with the fight flight response to run away from the tiger. And we want to be grateful for that. But many things that I end up fearing, there's a very tiny chance that that would happen to me. You know, so I fear something and I make it bigger than it has to be. And sometimes it is false evidence appearing real. And it can make me stuck. So the words we brought forward this morning, you know, stuck. You know, stuck, maybe spinning our wheels, maybe waiting till spring, you know, wanting to have the new birthing. Perhaps waiting for warmth in the colder climates. And many spiritual teachers will say, give up waiting. Come back to the present. Give up fear. Is anything wrong with the present moment? staying in the present moment. You just live. And and then when you discover that life and death are equal, it's another reason not to fear. It just is. It's kind of interesting. False evidence appearing real. Face everything absolutely reverently. So consider that. Face everything absolutely as though you were just being in gratitude and embracing all that is as this miracle. Then bring the fingertips together and your thumbs to your heart. There is an old paradigm of 7 chakras. There is a new paradigm of 12. We are going through a real time of shifting from the energies of the old millennia, the old times to new times. We're barely into the 21st century. So we awaken the old, which is the understanding of light as we have known it, as the electromagnetic spectrum, with the white light right in the center of that electromagnetic spectrum. And that white light breaks into the rainbow, and we're considered the rainbow. And they measured this through all sorts of different technologies that have shown our colors. We can see the colors coming out of our body through technologies. So wake up to the rainbow. Then bring your thumbs to the third eye and welcome to the new us. Inspiration, imagination, intuition, and integration. And within those 4 eyes, they represent hundreds of different sensory perceptions that we've never recognized as we are taught about the sensory perceptions. That's the deep, dark indigo blue into the pineal, the pituitary, the hypothalamus and hippocampus that are changing as they're the control centers of changing our brains. So working with the brain to the heart, there's a constant movement of energy between the two. There's a nervous system in your heart and there's a nervous system in your brain. And these are constantly talking to each other. So from your heart, hold the place of gratitude, love, peace, harmony, and uplift the feminine to help Mother Earth be the Mother Earth that we know. And then tap the top of your head to know that if we could open up the crown of our head, imagine that we just have this energy body, open up the crown and shine all the other chakras. And their colors: aquamarine, magenta, gold, peach, and opal, all up above our crown. Into the aura also. The aura, you can see we have 7 layers that we've always worked with of this aura. Now there's 12. It's because of this vibrational energy where we shifted from the third, working with 3 dimensions, to 5, or 5 energies, or 5 openings. It's a whole, language is working with this whole shift of the ages, or the great turning, or other names you might have for it. Then hands to the heart and bow in reverence to bring forward that understanding of face everything absolutely reverently. What does it do when you close your eyes and bow your head? How do you feel? You're in prayer position. It's also namaste. I honor me. I honor this incredible experience of aliveness. I have such gratitude. And then I honor you. And I honor all of you for coming, for who come to this call, so that we have a little circle of women that make us even more powerful together than we are alone. And we can touch all others in our circles of women. So each one of you know you have circles of women that you admire, people who maybe you never even met, and we can bring Kamala Harris right into our hearts in that circle of wise women in Congress. I see them all. I don't know all their names. And we know we had, such a wise woman as Speaker of the House for so long. So honoring her, honoring the women who have been courageous enough to be in a very patriarchal system, and hold in our hearts that we will become more balanced in all of our she, her, his, them, then, they, their. That the pronouns matter because we need to embrace people, humans, in their own humanity, of however they find their way to express exactly who they are. Then take a deep breath in and send that prayer out as you lengthen out your arms. Shake out the hands, shake them above your head, shake them down below, depending on where you are. Undo from that posture that we just had, if depending on whether you were seated, lying down, using any props. Roll the ankles. Roll the ankles. Point and flex the feet. These bodies are the old paradigm is to understand how limited we are. The new paradigm is we're unlimited. What we bring into our consciousness goes out. So if you're not down there already, come down to the floor. We'll do all of our little warm-ups that we always do. Pull the knees in, roll the knees in a circle. And one of the purposes of yoga is the unity of ourselves: physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, relational. And as the world changes, in order to get unstuck from whatever circles, as you change directions with the circle of the knees, this is a simple representation of starting at the base of the spine and honoring the body as a vessel for the spirit, the physical form as a vessel for all the other parts of the self. And then pull the knees in and make yourself small. And when you make yourself even smaller and you lift the head up and you bring your hands as far down to the feet as they'll go, then again, we don't want to stay small. Feel the tension is held here. And remember, you can always have, I haven't been showing you this much, but you can always have a strap, to do any of this. You can find your way with your body to hold the knees as you need, under, over, with a strap, or even down to your hands to your feet if it works. Notice the constriction of everything: neck, shoulders, breathing. So there's definitely some constriction there for your breath. And then when you go to five-pointed star, which is really a truth of who we are, is, Da Vinci was brilliant in drawing that picture of course, it was a man. It was a man inside of the circle. But really, it was the beginning of the representation of the flower of life. And he did a lot of geometry, Leonardo da Vinci, and he was a scientist and an artist. And that's how I kind of feel like what I do. So I bring him up a lot. He's one of my mentors, you might say. Flower of Life. And Flower of Life is based on 6 points. And it's based on a 6-pointed kind of circles within circles that make vortices that come together. And so think of the 6th point as if you draw a line from the crown of the head. If you open your crown and then you open up through the center of your body, down through your tailbone, down through the pelvis, that's like the root of it all. So you're 6-pointed. There's a meditation that perhaps we'll do one day as I've got to get the written form of it, but it's called the Merkaba, which is based on 2 tetrahedrons. And I brought this up last week to make yourself 3-dimensional. And these tetrahedrons are like 2 that come together with one pointed downward, one pointed upward, and they represent partially male, female. More on that later. So just feel the support of the earth here and draw earth energy up through the belly button, navel radiation right through that belly button into that solar plexus to spread it out as a sun. The new solar chakras, they're all solar now. They're all suns. They're not vortices. Then bring the feet flat on the floor and hands by your sides. And you can, again, prepare yourself for either restorative yoga with a block maybe, and have a strap and a block available, or fitness yoga, or just vinyasa yoga, any one of them, bringing yourself up into the bridge. So the affirmation, old affirmation for the bridge is, I let life in. So just for a moment, I brought the block underneath and I'm going, I let life in. I let it in with all my heart and soul open to receive. And then I want to put it into motion. Inhale up and exhale down. Now you can keep it in stillness with a block. You can hold the posture. I like the movement here because it helps me with the deepened breath. Inhale totally, fully, completely as my arms come up and then come down as though I'm breathing life in. I let life in. Now you could make sounds like I'm making. As you use the sounds, that ah sound is opening the heart. It's the seed sound of the heart. You could go to any sound and you're working with the chakras. Every chakra has a sound. Every chakra has a note. It's based on it's mostly based on the C scale, but not completely, because you'll get the F sharp in there and the B flat. It's music. Music is vibration. Music is healing. The next time you come up, hold yourself up there and feel it. I'm resting my arms above my head. It's good for relaxing the shoulders. And I'm going to press into the feet to strengthen the glutes, because I always need those glutes strengthened. Do you? So then you ask yourself the question, what happens to the strengthening of the glutes? What happens to the quads and the hamstrings? How are you working with the knees? How do you feel the feet? What are you feeling when you do this? And then hold the posture for a moment. Pause. What happens in stillness? Bring the arms down by your sides. Pause. Walk in space. Just walk in place, I mean. And you can kick one leg up if you want and see what that feels like. And then if you want more, you can stop on one side and lift on one side. I just do a few lifts just for a little strengthening. And the other side. And then down, up onto your toes. And this is like one posture that has so many ways you can do it, that it represents all of life. It represents face everything absolutely reverently. Even this moment, as you lower down, touching the floor, noticing the vertebra, lengthening out the legs, reaching the arms above the head. I am that I am, and I am my I am presence, and I'm at one with all that is. And I'm at one with every human on the planet because I am part of one humanity. Hold the breath and stretch as though you could take that, make a circle with each one of our straight bodies and go around the world, touching all beings, and then relax. So use that imagination. Feel it. Be it. No fear. Fearlessly going through every single day, every moment, every choice. Making the choices fearlessly that are going to, whatever keeps coming out, you can usually tell if it keeps coming back around and around and around and around, it knows, it's either not the time yet or that there's something holding you back. And it could be that word, fear. False evidence appearing real. Then put the feet flat on the floor. And drop the knees side to side. The routine can be the same, or you can make it different every time. We're going to do a few things we haven't done in a while today. And then come to one side, but remember, you can cross one leg over the other. So I'm going to cross my right leg over and then lower the left leg with the right leg on top of it down to one side. Bring my hands down in a more gentle position and turn my head opposite. Now this feels a little bit strong, so I'm going to take a cushion and just put it under one hip. Now, I haven't done this before, not really. I've been doing a more gentle practice, which would be knees on top of each other, feet on top of each other, or feet apart. And also remember, you can also always use cushions, blankets, blocks, and put something between your knees. You can also put something behind your back, and that's going to push your torso further over to the right, and you're going to get a deeper spinal twist here. Again, every posture has probably an unlimited number of ways to do this. To remind us that we are unlimited, that this body we have can do all sorts of things that are unique to our personal body, and that our body somehow holds our story. And what would we be without the story? We would be free. That's a good one to come up with an acronym for. Free. Then, without our story, some of my spiritual people say that without your story, you are gratitude. And then over to the other side, gentle, feet apart, moderate, feet, knees, and thighs on top of each other. Take a block or a cushion. You can bring the torso over further. You can take the bottom foot and put it on top of that right knee. You can take a cushion or block and put it on the other side, helping you to be in this position. And you turn your head opposite. So it just is a representation of how one moment has so many different possibilities. that if we're fully present in the moment and aware of all the details, sounds and smells and the feeling of air on your skin and how your body touches the floor, where it touches the floor, where it doesn't touch the floor, the shape that the body makes, this physical experience becomes the universe. Then if you can go inside your body and honor everything that's going on inside and recognize, the multitude of the incredible activity. And then come back to center. I just need to do a little bit of core strengthening, but today what I'm going to do is we're going to do the 100 that I've been teaching you over time. If you've been here, for that particular class. And what it is, it's pressing into the lower back. This is the first part of it, press into the lower back, and then lift the feet off the floor or bend the knees and bring the arms up. And then it's a breath pattern. It's a blow out for 3 to 5. If it doesn't work to do 5, then you do 3. And you pump your arms. So you're getting strengthening for your arms. And if your head gets tired, then take one arm behind your head. And you, so you blow out and then you suck in. And then hold for a moment and pull the knees in. So that was an introduction to it. Then rock yourself up. And bring yourself around onto your knees. Yeah, our time goes so fast. It's partly that I get lost in what I say. Okay, so we know this, just moving the spine. Once we've been on the floor for that long, we want to move the spine and just get it moving. You can do simple here, or you can bring it into a spinal roll using your arms to push up with the breath. And then other direction, spinal roll, or just cat-cow, holding in one direction or another. And then fold back into child, however you need to. For me, I'm going to widen my knees. Now you can hold in child for a while. And holding in child, if it doesn't work for you, remember, there's so many ways to do this. You can go into puppy stretch. So your back, it gets a little different curve. Your elbows are on the floor. Your forehead can be on the floor. You can reach out the arms and have that on the floor. And if you can put your chin on the floor. So there's all these ways to do every posture, teaching us about the infinite possibilities of how not to be in fear and how to get unstuck. Infinite possibilities. So what I want to do is go from child to upward dog, because I need that back bend. So inhale and exhale, inhale. And you can stay in child if you want, and you can stay in upward dog if you want. Just holding there. Press into the hands, head comes out of the shoulder girdle. And just feel what's going on. The spine is so key to our infinite potential. Why does yoga work? We're bringing body, mind, spirit, physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, relational together, and we're shining. We're opening up the channels to shine that light and love and gratitude and peace, and to recognize every moment as a miracle. Then either from hands and knees or from the upward dog, come up and stretch the backs of your legs. Definitely a thing with hamstrings and quads that lock up the lower back. Lower back gets locked up a lot from too much sitting. I'm much better when I'm moving than when I'm sitting. So play with this a little bit. Those of you that have the strength, energy, flexibility, you can play with it a little bit by bringing one leg up. And then the other leg up. You can. It doesn't have to come up that high. You just sort of play with what you have. And then down. Oh. And today, because of our time, we're not going to come all the way up. We're going to bring the right knee through the hands into pigeon. Now, if you need to go into another hip stretch, like thread the needle, or you need to be on a chair and just bring one ankle over, or even just on your back and just bring one ankle over, or all the different ways that I've shown you in on other days, then do that. For me, it's been a long time since that I've gone into pigeon. So my right knee is forward. Again, the back leg, lots of options here. You can be in mermaid position and you'll get a nice stretch of that right hip. You can lengthen out that leg. It's a little bit different feeling. Or you could go up. You could be on a cushion or a block right at that hip. It's going to hold you up. You can explore it. This works primarily with the energy of the first chakra, which is kind of related to those threats of survival, especially in our early years. And I was explaining how, childhood trauma, this can help that childhood trauma be released. I flow fully with the life force that dwells within me, is the affirmation here. I flow fully with the life force that dwells within me. So when the hips open, the childhood trauma can be released, enhancing the ability to remain centered in the moment. So it's kind of an interesting way to look at a posture. Every posture has an affirmation, at least one. Now, if you can, bring yourself up. I'm using the push-up bars because of my wrist. And it also nice that it brings me up further. And I am up here. Now, those of you who can, you're lifting up out of the crown of your head. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bend my back foot and I'm going to pull. I'm going to see if I can use my pants legs and do a little stretch of my quad. Now, if you can't do that, then you come down, you go into mermaid, you come on your elbow and catch your quad. You stretch it. You catch the ankle. If you can't get there, then you use a strap around your ankle, and you can always come down all the way on your head. But also in pigeon, we don't do this very often, but in pigeon, you can catch that and you can pull that there if it works for you. All these dark blue things behind me. Let's move them out of the way. Yeah. Then come back to center and come back to hands and knees, or you can tuck your toe and come up. Heel walk. Again, stretching the legs. Take the block, and if you're going to put it on the other side, left knee comes through. And also you can come into into mermaid, or you can come and you're just changing legs from the other, thread the needle or sitting on a chair. And then again, lift up, come down, take a moment. Whew. When I did it again, it's 5 of already. So here we go. And up. Feel this side. See if it's any different than the other side. And see if you can catch your leg. Again, come down on your elbow onto your side or into mermaid position, and you can do this quad stretch. And you're going, okay, what's going on with my legs? you know? And so you're just getting an idea here to know, well, do I need to do more of that stretching? Probably. Yes. And then come back to center, come all the way down, and just do that cerebral spinal fluid balancer. Feels very good. You don't push off with the hands. You're just taking those toes and jiggling the body. Oh. Slow that down and bring yourself over on your back. So many possibilities for our last posture. You could choose one. Reclined goddess is one we've been doing a lot. And I love that one because it opens your shoulders. Another one that opens your shoulders is the fish. So you can do it without anything. You put the palms of your hands underneath your buttocks and put your head up, and you're kind of on your elbows, and you put your the back of your head, or not all the way up on the top, but you use the head as the point, like a 3-pointed piece. Another way to play with this is to take that cushion and have that be what you're working with. And you can just open the shoulders instead of putting the head back. Now, if you have a cushion the right size, or you've got the blanket, you can come back and you can kind of work with tilting the head back by lying down on the cushion, and you're opening the shoulders. So this would be a supported fish. And again, another way to go is just to the support of reclined goddess, with or without. Let's see if I have oh yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So you come to a closing posture, whatever it is. Often we put our feet up. You can put your feet up the wall. It's a great posture. Good one to do any time of day for 5 to 10 minutes. It will help stretch the backs of your legs, and it gives you this understanding of the shoulder stand, a modified or a way of using shoulder stand. And the affirmation for shoulder stand is, I open to the unknown. I trust in my higher self. Yeah, so that's a great one. You can even go from here and get those legs up. Even with the cushion under and my shoulders open, I can bring my legs up with a block. So I trust in my higher self and the unknown. So breathing, relaxing, feeling, witnessing the moment, allowing what is to be. This whole little series of words, breathwa, breathe, relax, feel, watch, allow, came out of Kripalu Yoga, one of my primary trainings. And it's one I just constantly go back to. And I have it kind of in several spots in my house to remember. Breathe, relax, feel, watch, and allow. And that will bring you away from also that FEAR, that fear, that discomfort, that worry. What's wrong with the present moment? Usually nothing. Now, you may find yourself at some point in a time where you need that adrenaline system to help you get away from something that is harmful. But in the meantime, it's kind of, there is a great mystery about it, because we don't know sometimes whether to use that adrenaline system, using our fight flight system or not. But we know that it does keep us stuck to have fear. So getting unstuck is to be present and to know that you only have the moment, and every moment is a miracle. It's getting our old neural pathways unstuck, as though you have a river of neural pathways that you can say, oh, this particular river, the one that is FEAR, fear, false evidence appearing real, I'm going to have that river of my neural pathway of fear to go right into the stillness of a clear lake. Or go out into the ocean with grace and ease, back into the ocean from whence the water came, the cycle of water. So we bring our hands together at our heart. And take a moment to hold women rising, to hold the feminine power, to hold the understanding of the new acceptance of each of us as individuals, each of us unique, bringing our own light to the planet, bringing our own gifts, each of us having the ability to shine our light out, to actually shine on all that is, or to the people we want to support, or we can hold it in, just close to our own body, to just because we need it so much for ourselves and we can't give it out. But when you give, you receive. And that is another spiritual lesson, just to know that when you give, you receive. So sending my light out to all of you, with a big heart of gratitude for all the miracles, all the amazing things that are going to happen today. May we have peace, shalom, salam, pak, shanti, pache, mir, malohia, freedom, bringing all the, Hong Song, bringing all of the languages that I have learned to say peace in, all together in this moment, uniting the whole of humanity as oneness. May we have peace, and may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace. Then seeing how you release the posture, sometimes the release of whatever posture you're in feels incredibly good. You feel the flow of energy as I take out the cushion and I just release that whole posture. There's a kind of shiver, a vibration, a very shimmery kind of energetic release that goes through my whole body. Then rolling over to the side, and revisiting the fetal posture. I like to think of that I'm rewiring the neural pathways of the false evidence appearing real as I was in the womb, and then as I was born, and in my very earliest days, bringing myself up, re-nurturing myself as that infant. And hands and knees, and left foot forward and coming up. Oh, yes, and namaste. Thanks for being here. And I'll come back.